Have you ever been digging around your beer fridge and discovered a can or bottle of something you had not remembered was there? Well, that's what this special segment is all about. There are so many great beers out there, and with only a couple of times each month to share them with you, it was time to add a new segment to address this. Welcome to Beer Fridge Bonus. As I mentioned in my last official episode of the year, my plan had been to review a number of holiday beers, but since I was sick, I was just not feeling it. And surprisingly, this has been such a busy year for me that this is only my third bonus segment of the year. Shame on me. So to make up for lost time, today I am reviewing 4 different regional beers that are available to me here in the tri-state area. It's never too late for holiday beers, especially since many of them are spiced and hover around 7% ABV. The first beer I'm drinking today is Ski House from Allagash Brewing Company, located in Portland, Maine. From the brewer, cozy up or let the festivities commence with the notes of citrus, spice, and fresh ginger you'll find in Ski House. This full-bodied wheat beer brewed to bring you the cheery of a snowy haven, no matter where you happen to enjoy it. Without further delay, so this is a 7.5% ABV wit beer. Allagash are probably best known for their beer called Allagash White. At least that's how I got to know them. Honestly, I think a wit beer makes a heck of a lot of sense when coming to a holiday ale. I think that sounds like a perfect blend of flavors and spices and aromas. So I poured this out, and it poured a very clear, light golden color with a fine foamy head. On the nose, it has that great wit beer aroma, so that spiciness that just oozes out of this glass. So, for sip impression, oh yeah, this is a very, very nice wit beer. The thing I like about it is that on the first sip, you get that nice citrusy flavor, which they talked about in the description, but you also get that great wit beer spice on the palate as well. It's medium bodied. It almost has a breadiness on the finish as well. Super smooth. This is, again, just a great example of thinking outside the box when it comes to some sort of a winter beer. Maybe just a slight bit of sweetness in there, but again, it's not cloying, it's not overpowering. It's just very subtle, just very well balanced. So I give Ski House a high 3.5 tasters out of 5 on the flight board. Cheers! Allagash Brewing. The next beer on my docket is regional favorite Christmas Ale from Great Lakes Brewing Company, located in Cleveland, Ohio. From the brewer, a holiday classic, fully decked with fresh ginger, cinnamon, and sweet honey. Without further delay, so this is a 7.5% ABV winter ale. This is one that I've had previously, but again, I think it's pretty famous, especially here in the Great Lakes region. They make a big deal out of it. When the first kegs are filled, they walk them down through the downtown area of Cleveland where the brewery is and deliver them to the tap house. So this one's slightly different, of course. So instead of it being a very clear, light golden color, this is a clear color, but it is more of an amber. It just, again, it's a very, very clean beer. This has just a very little bit of foam around the edges, not as effervescent as the previous beer. So on the nose, I get that great cinnamon and that ginger. I know that this is 7.5% beer, but it sure seems like it's going to be a little bit more heavy. So first sip impression. So in contrast, the previous beer was a little bit more, had a little bit more bite to it. This is a lot smoother, just a lot more, just inviting. The beer probably is more medium-bodied, but it certainly feels like on the tongue it's more of a full-bodied mouthfeel. Those spices are melded in there just brilliantly. It's not overly spicy. It's all very, very subtle, very well balanced. Honestly, I can't tell you the last time I had this. I didn't really look it up. I wasn't really blown away, but you know what? I guess I really appreciate this beer now a little bit more. That honey comes through on the finish. Just a little bit of that. I don't know. It's just that typical kind of honey. I'm going to call it a bitterness, even though it's probably not really a bitterness, but I really do kind of get that in there. It's a nice beer. It really is. It's one that you could take to a party. I think that you'd find that a lot of people would enjoy it just because it is just a classic ale. It's not overly spicy. It's not overly sweet. It's not overly bitter. It's just a nice, balanced holiday beer. I'm going to give this one 4 tasters out of 5 on the flight board. Cheers, Great Lakes Brewing. The next beer I'm going to taste is one I've never had before, but the name intrigued me as we were walking through the store. Gingerbread Unicorns from Pipeworks Brewing, located in Chicago, Illinois. From the brewer, oat ale with rye malt, lactose, vanilla, ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg, and black pepper. Super intrigued. Without further delay, so this is a 7% ABV spiced beer. And again, I'm intrigued. So they're calling it an oat ale. So to me that means that a majority of the grist bill is going to be oats. So this beer poured a light amber color, just a small bit of foam on the top, a little bit of head, very similar to the previous beer. I will say the interesting part when I'm holding this up to the light is that I see that there is a lot of material in suspension in the beer. From a visual point, it does look like it's going to be light-bodied, light to medium-bodied. But when I look at this in the light and I see that suspension, that makes me feel like it's going to maybe have a little bit more of a full-bodied mouthfeel. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But on the nose, I get the ginger, I get the cinnamon. Again, it's not overpowering. So far, the thing I'm really liking about these beers is that they're not overly spicy. In contrast to, let's say, the pumpkin ales that come out in the fall. You know, those just are so over the top with the cinnamon and the ginger and the pumpkin spice. It's just way too much. I can get my mind around this type of a beer that's very subtle. Because honestly, if I think about the way that I cook and or brew, I really want something that's going to have a lot of layers of flavor. It's not going to be crazy over the top, but it's going to be nice and balanced. So, first sip impression. All right, this has a very nice spiced base to it. I can get the ginger, I get the cinnamon, the nutmeg, and I can even get a little bit of that black pepper that's in there. It's kind of funny, too. I just was talking with a brewer locally who was talking about adding black pepper to a beer. And I think that's not a bad idea. I think that could add some additional layers of flavor that might not necessarily come out through in the beer when you brew it. Again, that nose. So now that I've let this warm up just a slight bit. But going back to the aroma, so I certainly can sense the idea of the whole gingerbread cookie kind of vibe going on, because I get a little bit of that vanilla sweetness, I get the ginger, I get the cinnamon there. Again, it's very subtle, just very lovely. So I think this stays in the medium-bodied regime. It doesn't get into that full-bodied area, which I was kind of expecting based on the suspension that I was seeing. Again, just another nice, well-balanced holiday ale. I'm digging this. Now, I will say that the black pepper, maybe a little bit of the cinnamon, I am getting a little bit more of a spicy bite on the palate. It's not off-putting at all. It's very pleasant. I like this a lot. I give Gingerbread Unicorns a high 3.5 tasters out of 5 on the flight board. Cheers, Pipeworks Brewing. The last beer for this special holiday segment is non-denominational holiday ale from Twin Oaks Brewing, located in Port Clinton, Ohio. One of my local regional favorites. From the brewer, a winter warmer made with blackstrap molasses, ginger, cinnamon, and nutmeg. Without further delay, I'll tell you right now, just based on the way that it popped through the top of the can, this is going to be a very interesting beer. So this is a 7.1% ABV winter warmer. And I'll be honest with you, on a day like today, where the temperatures dropped 40 degrees overnight, I'm not kidding, it was 60 yesterday and dropped into the teens today, this style of beer will certainly keep you warm. So visually, it's again another beautiful beer. It reminds me a little bit more color-wise of the Christmas Ale from Great Lakes Brewing. It's a deep amber, and gosh, it almost comes across as just being, if I was just looking at this, it just looks like a red ale. It's got a nice fine white foam on the head. It has a fine white head on the top. But again, another clear beer. Oh, so I'm just going to take a sidebar here again because it's my show. I can do what I want. I've brewed with blackstrap molasses before. I had added some of that to one of my variants of chocolate porter back a couple of seasons ago. And it adds just a nice bitterness to the beer without being, I don't know, it's just I personally just love cooking with blackstrap molasses. So I've never had this beer before either, so I'm really looking forward to trying this and seeing what they have to offer here. So on the nose, getting that blackstrap molasses front and center, not going to lie. Again, if you've ever had molasses before, it has a very distinct aroma to it, and I can sense that here on the nose. I don't get maybe as much of the spice, although I can kind of sense that there is going to be that ginger and cinnamon there, kind of below the surface. So, first sip impression. This beer definitely leans into more the full-bodied regime on the mouthfeel, so definitely medium to full-bodied. From an ABV standpoint, it's on the lower side of the other ones that I've had, but it almost comes across as being something that's a little bit more boozy. And I think it's that blackstrap molasses. It just gives you that sense that there's more there. Again, it just kind of messes with your mind a little bit. I'll tell you what, they have really hidden the ginger, the cinnamon, and the nutmeg nicely in this beer. I feel like the blackstrap molasses really masks all that. It's not a bad thing, believe me, because I feel like for a winter warmer, I'd rather have something that had a little bit more of a, I don't know how to even describe it, a non-traditional, a non-denominational kind of vibe to it as opposed to just what I would expect from a typical winter warmer. A typical winter warmer for me, super spice forward, a lot of ginger, a lot of cinnamon. It's hidden in here. Again, I'm always amazed when I find a beer that is not what you expect, and it makes you wonder, how in the heck are they doing this? I give non-denominational 4 tasters out of 5 on the flight board. Cheers, Twin Oast. And as I close out the year, once again, I just want to thank you, my faithful listeners, whether you're listening every episode, whether you're listening once a month, every other month, it doesn't matter. I'm so grateful to you for following along in my beer journey. I want to wish you a happy new year and many happy beers in 2026.
Just so you know, if you have a beer, cider, or mead that you'd like me to review here on Beer Fridge Bonus, let me know what it is by sending me a message through Instagram at 5beerplan2022 or emailing me at 5beerplan@frontier.com. If I can get my hands on it, I'll review it and give you props for suggesting it. If I can't get it and you can, perhaps you'd be willing to send a can or a bottle my way. I'm also looking for breweries who are interested in having an honest, unbiased review of their products. So if that's you, reach out today.